My favorite part of the brain is the amygdala. In the amygdala at a glance, it is an almond-shaped structure located in the rostral temporal lobes and is a part of the limbic system. It is involved in emotions and motivations, and it also determines what memories are stored where. Some of the emotions that are regulated by the amygdala include fear, anger, pleasure, aggression, as well as sadness. One major fear reaction regulated by the amygdala is the fight, flight, or freeze. The amygdala activates the sympathetic division of the peripheral nervous system. When this is activated, the pupils are dilated, you have a faster heart rate, there's an increase in blood flow to the muscles, and an increased metabolic rate. The amygdala also stores memories of events and emotions associated with those events to elicit future responses. For example, if you're bit by a snake, the brain circuits change and form new memories, and in the future you will have a heightened alertness and a fear of snakes. The amygdala also stores unpleasant sounds and creates memories to have the same types of reactions in the future. Baerbach-Wieser disease has only affected around 400 people since the disease was first discovered. The disease causes calcium deposits to form and cause lesions on the amygdala. While patient SM experienced little to no fear symptoms when exposed to things like snakes, spiders, and haunted houses, she did still experience emotions such as joy, happiness, and sadness. It appears that she only did not exhibit physiological responses and only rational responses to fear.
Some emotions, typically I think basic ones, like fear, are ones that probably have one location. I think that the experience of fear probably has to do with either the amygdala per se, or at least the amygdala being a channel. So removing the amygdala for sure makes you not experience that. We have unique patients, a few that I got to work with, were people that are born with a unique disorder that makes it such that they don't have amygdala.
And that would be quite dangerous, wouldn't it?
Yes, I had experience of working with one patient. She's a woman who, in fact, does not have feeling of fear whatsoever. And this makes her life very difficult. She's too trusting. So if she would meet you, she immediately hugs you and feels too comfortable with you. She doesn't have a sense of distance the way we do. So if I started speaking to you like this, let's demonstrate, very close. What happened just now is that
very scary.
that you immediately had your amygdala immediately came to life and started firing because there's some kind of distance that is too much.
Yeah.
All of those mechanisms are things that our bodies, through evolution, our brains basically were creating in order to avoid danger and things that are uncomfortable. She doesn't have that, so it's very dangerous for her to just exist like that.
The feeling brain, exploring the neural basis of emotion. Frontier science for the digital revolution.
Some of the functions that involve the amygdala include arousal, autonomic responses involving fear, emotional responses, hormonal secretions, and memory. In amygdala-related disorders, hyperactivity in the amygdala or having one amygdala that is smaller than the other can lead to certain fear and anxiety disorders. In anxiety disorders, some children tend to have a smaller left amygdala. The left amygdala is also linked to social anxiety, obsessive-compulsive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and separation and general anxiety. In borderline personality disorder, there tends to be greater left amygdala activity, and they have difficulty classifying neutral faces. These faces have been seen as threatening. In bipolar disorder, there's a smaller amygdala volume as well as a smaller hippocampal volume. Individuals with psychopathy had reduced autonomic responses to instructed fear cues. In 1996, Daniel Gluman coined the phrase amygdala hijacking, which is used to refer to the immediate and overwhelming emotional responses. There are 3 signs of amygdala hijacking, which are strong emotional reaction, the sudden onset, and post-episode realization if the reaction was inappropriate. This tends to work in the following order. The optical stimulus is received by the thalamus, part of the stimulus goes to the amygdala, and the other part goes to the neural cortex, which is the rational part of the brain. If the amygdala sees a match to the stimulus, then it triggers the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis and hijacks the rational brain. If the info received is not a match, then the body follows the directions received by the neural cortex. While it was only possible to touch on a few of the functions of the amygdala, it is duly noted that it is connected to many different pathways in the brain. And even slight differences in the amygdala can cause many different outcomes, such as psychological disorders and the feeling of no fear at all. It can also be considered the emotional center of the brain. This is my favorite brain structure because it is so versatile while it still carries its main purpose.